Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest is the chief White House correspondent and anchor of The Source with Kaitlan Collins on CNN. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Kaitlan Collins. We're great. How are you?
Nice and calm around here.
It is nice and calm around here. Nothing going on.
It feels like covering a day at the White House. Like you never know what's gonna happen next.
No, I want to get into that in just a moment. But this isn't the first time we've spoken. But since the last time we spoke, you're now doing double duty at CNN.
Yeah, I got a second job since I was last year.
You are chief White House correspondent and anchor of The Source at the same time.
Yes.
What's it like covering the White House these days? Because you did the first Trump term, then you had sort of the interim period of the Biden years.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of turnover. The White House has done a lot of turnover in who the press corps is in the White House. And I'm just curious, what's the vibe like for an average press conference there?
It's so different and so similar at the same time.
Okay.
And because, I mean, covering the Trump White House was the first White House I had ever covered. And so
oh my gosh,
a lot
that's
of people
hilarious.
had been there for decades. And, you know, they were kind of used to how different presidencies operated, Republican or Democrat. And like the first Trump White House was like, it totally blew all of that up. And so it's familiar to that still and the same, but it's like, it is like a second season of a television show. Like it's like different characters and different plot lines, except it's real and it's the president and it's the White House. And so as a reporter, I love it. I love my job. I love covering the administration. I really enjoy doing that and being there every single day. And it's meaningful to me to be back at the White House because I love the White House press corps. I love being there. I think it's really meaningful. And so I don't have any free time, but other than that, it's great.
The free time when you're older. Now, during Trump's first administration, one of the sort of positions that CNN marked out for themselves was just acknowledging reality. Because there was this, part of the expression, there was this epistemological crisis in government where what is real, what is not, can things be known? And there were things like those "this is an apple" ads that CNN ran, which is like, this is an apple. People might say it's a banana, but it's an apple. How are things over there? What's the attitude over there at CNN about the renewed challenge of keeping your feet on the dry land of what really is?
Well, and those ads came out when we were in an era of alternative facts. And, you know, people were adjusting to statements like that coming from some of the highest ranking officials in the White House, Kellyanne Conway, when she said that. And I think the mission is still the same, though, which is...
Because the alternative facts haven't changed, have they? They're still just facts and... Alternative facts, and we get a lot of them.
But there aren't alternative facts. There's facts, and that's it.
Well, that's a fact.
So I think the mission, though, is the same. I think it's holding people, powerful people, taxpayer-funded officials to account. It's asking tough questions. It's covering the stories. It's making people uncomfortable. And I think that should happen whether it's a Republican in the White House or a Democrat. I think anyone who's in that position should face tough questions. And so I think the mission is the same for my colleagues and for myself, certainly.
Absolutely. But it's not even tough questions sometimes. It's just a perfectly reasonable question. For instance, 2 weeks ago, there was a moment between you and the president. Got a little coverage. We have a clip.
What would you say to the survivors who feel like they haven't gotten justice?
You are the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile.
Well, I'm asking you about survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's.
You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth. And you're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you.
Now, you have covered the president. You've covered the president for 10 years, as you said. So you expect what he's like, you know. Did that one surprise you?
I don't think it surprised me in the moment of the attack. I mean, the president has called me a lot of names. He's gone after me and tried to deflect from the questions that we're asking. But in that moment, you know, he is someone who is often politically savvy or tied in with what his base wants. in that moment, I was thinking, if he had said that in response to a different question, I think it would have had a different reaction. I mean, I don't think any woman, I think a lot of women can identify with that moment and that feeling.
Yes.
But I think it was actually the question that is what generated so many headlines out of that, because my question was about sexual assault survivors, and it wasn't even accusatory of the president. It was what these women, many of whom I've interviewed and had on my show often, have said to me. And I don't think it's a controversial opinion that you shouldn't smile when you're asking questions about a sex trafficker and sexual assault victims.
That's reasonable. That's reasonable. Well, why? I'm just curious.
I will say, though, that
Yes, go ahead.
ever since that, everyone has been sending me pictures of me smiling. Like, if it's selfies I've taken with someone, or like my dad was sending me pictures of me smiling as like a 10-year-old. Like, it's like I've been inundated with photos showing that I do indeed smile when it's appropriate.
Yes, lovely smile, lovely smile. Back in November, the president suggested that FCC Chair Brendan Carr look into ABC's broadcasting license after Mary Bruce asked questions that he didn't like.
Yeah.
And as a journalist, what do you make of Trump's apparent weaponizing of the FCC?
I think it's something that the president, we didn't see him do as much in his first term. It's a way that he's wielding his power so differently in this second term. And I think
I think that sort of the chains are off.
Yeah, ever since Brendan Carr, was in this position, I don't think anything that he's done is really that surprising if you've been covering Trump and paying attention. And so I think, the question is how far he goes on his threats. Does he follow through? Does he even need to follow through, or does just making the threat in and of itself already cause the action?
For instance, if you threaten the network and then they might just do it for you without actually, making a ruling of any kind.
And I think it's actually a really slippery slope, because I think that you've seen some people on the right cheering this and saying, well, that's what we want Brendan Carr to do. I think that they don't want a Democratic administration saying that right-wing talk radio must give equal time to Democrats, or to see that moment. And so for me personally, on our show, I have Democrats and Republicans on. I want to know what everyone's saying. I want my viewers to know what the debate is that's in Washington. I don't think anyone wants the federal government telling people who they should book on their show and who the guests should be on their show.
Good luck. We have to take a quick break. We're right back with more Kaitlan Collins, everybody. Stick around.